One of my interests for a long time has been the pleasure that we get from objects, including everyday objects, but also sort of objects we collect. And remember that part of my view on pleasure is that we are drawn not just to what things look like or feel like or sound like, but what we believe about objects, what we think the object's deeper essence is. And this is why wine tastes differently depending on what you think you're drinking, and a face looks more attractive or less attractive depending on what you think of the person. Well, to me, the best example of this are objects. Because when you look at an object, like a painting or a toothbrush or a desk or a carving, your response to the object isn't just based on its physical structure, what it feels like, what it looks like, and so on, but also on your belief about where it came from, its history. And this is why it's as if we resonate not just to the superficial aspects of things, but to what philosophers have called the essence of things. And what something's essence can be is where it came from, who made it. And we're fascinated by this. So this is why picking up an artifact from 1,000 years ago, or touching a rock from the moon, or looking at a genuine painting by Michelangelo is so powerful for us. And it's also why people collect personal mementos. So I have at home my children's baby shoes. And there's nothing special about these. They aren't special shoes in any way. They're not particularly good to put on the feet or so on. But they're of great value to me just because of their history. Now that's a personal example, but the more general example is that we collect and we buy and we travel around the world to see objects just because of their history. People go to Paris to see the Mona Lisa, for instance. And the view that you get from the Mona Lisa, because it's so crowded and there's so much security, is not a good one. You see it at a bit of a distance. And actually, if you had a big reproduction, you get a closer look. But nobody wants to see a reproduction. You want to see the real thing. We did experiments at Yale where we asked people how much they would pay for an object owned by a celebrity. So we asked people, who do you admire the most in the world? And some people answered George Clooney. So, okay, George Clooney, how much would you pay for George Clooney's sweater? A sweater that was worn by George Clooney. And answer is people would pay a lot. That bit of history matters. If you tell them that the sweater was thoroughly washed before it got to you, the amount that they would pay drops, because it no longer has the same essence, it no longer has the same thing.